out for inconsistencies once again. I want to highlight a couple more points from the microdeletion video she posted recently. First, the link between chemotherapy and her teeth being extracted. Later saying that the
Gypsy Rose Blanchard has once again become the center of controversy, this time over a shocking contradiction regarding her past medical treatments. After years of publicly discussing her supposed chemotherapy treatments, she's now denying that she ever underwent such procedures, leaving the public confused and questioning the truth. This sudden change in her narrative has sparked intense debate, as there is substantial evidence contradicting her latest claim. In a series of videos she posted on social media, Gypsy attempted to clarify her medical history, detailing her rare genetic condition and the role her mother, Dee Blanchard, allegedly played in manipulating doctors into believing she was seriously ill.
It's something she never had claimed to have, and never claimed she said that she had.
I'm also 32 with dentures. I don't know. The hospital gave me free dentures because chemotherapy and treatments like that will rot your teeth.
She spoke about how her mother convinced medical professionals that she required extensive treatments for conditions she did not actually have, a key component of what many believe was Dee's Munchausen syndrome by proxy. While the intention of these videos seemed to be an effort to clear up any confusion about her past, things took an unexpected turn when a viewer asked her about previous public appearances where she had explicitly stated that she underwent chemotherapy. Instead of acknowledging that she had made these statements before, Gypsy flatly denied ever saying she had received chemotherapy.
That she never said she had chemotherapy, and that all of her dental procedures were completely unnecessary. Well, I'm about to debunk that.
The fact that dentists did this, not this, but this, without any medical evidence.
She claimed that it was never her who had made those assertions, but rather her mother who had spread those claims about her medical history. This statement quickly raised doubts because it directly contradicted what she had previously said in widely available interviews and documentaries. In past footage, including the well-known HBO documentary about her life, Gypsy had openly discussed the chemotherapy treatments she claimed to have received, making her new denial difficult to believe.
This was necessary. There's nothing to justify this in my medical records at all. So that was unnecessary. It's flat out no.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard would have us believe that dentists pulled her teeth out for no reason. She claims that she went to the dentist and her mother told them.
One of the most compelling pieces of evidence came from her interview with Dr. Phil, where she once again confirmed that chemotherapy was part of her medical history. Given that these interviews were recorded and widely circulated, Gypsy's sudden refusal to acknowledge her past statements left many wondering whether she had genuinely forgotten or if she was intentionally trying to reshape the narrative to fit her current version of events. As the backlash mounted, Gypsy attempted to clarify her stance by responding to a comment.
And they just pulled him out. Let's take a look at some of these pictures of Gypsy's teeth. In the most recent episode of Life After Lockup on Lifetime, you can see Gypsy with a baby bottle, and every parent knows that children who drink from a bottle pass.
Stating that she never actually said she underwent chemotherapy, but only mentioned that people often lose their teeth as a result of the treatment. This explanation, however, did little to resolve the controversy and instead created more confusion. Many of her followers saw this as an attempt to deflect responsibility and distance herself from her earlier claims. The contradiction was glaring, and social media users quickly pulled up archived footage and past interviews where she had explicitly stated that chemotherapy had been part of her medical treatments.
Know that it impacts their mouth and how their teeth are growing. They also know that when you leave a baby to drink a bottle in their bed like overnight, that milk gets on their teeth and causes what is known as bottle rot. It actually takes off the enamel and causes the teeth to rot.
Things took another turn when Gypsy's comment, in which she attempted to correct herself, suddenly disappeared from her social media feed. This only fueled further speculation that she realized her mistake and was attempting to erase the evidence of her inconsistency. Unfortunately for her, the internet never forgets, and quick-thinking social media users had already taken screenshots of her now deleted comment, ensuring that the contradiction remained in the public eye. This incident only added to the growing doubts about her credibility.
I don't know my first one. I mean, what are bifocals?
I had bifocals when I was like 14.
14 with bifocals.
Yeah, I'm also 32 with dentures. I'm an old lady. My teeth is something that I've always been really insecure about. The hospital gave me free.
As it appeared that she was actively trying to backtrack on her own statements. This is not the first time Gypsy has placed the blame on her mother whenever inconsistencies in her story have surfaced. Over the years, she has repeatedly shifted responsibility onto DD whenever contradictions arise, portraying herself as someone who is manipulated into believing falsehoods about her own health. While there is no doubt that Gypsy suffered extreme abuse at the hands of her mother, her repeated tendency to blame DD whenever she is caught in a contradiction raises questions about her own accountability.
Because chemotherapy and treatments like that will rot your teeth. I think I have 16 teeth left, and they're all caps. But underneath, like the cap, they shave down the tooth, put the cap on with cement. So the teeth that I have remaining are nubs. It's one of
Some believe that she may genuinely struggle with memory lapses due to years of psychological manipulation, while others think she is deliberately altering her story to fit a more favorable narrative. Is Gypsy Rose Blanchard rewriting history, or is she simply caught in a web of her own contradictions? The latest drama surrounding her ever-changing story has left the public questioning whether she truly believes what she's saying or if she's desperately trying to reshape her narrative to avoid uncomfortable truths from her past. One of the most shocking inconsistencies came when Gypsy attempted to explain the reason behind her tooth removal. In a now infamous comment, she insisted that there was no medical explanation for why her teeth were extracted.
reminders of everything that I've gone through. And it would be nice to have a whole white smile someday, but I know that it's probably very expensive.
Claiming that nothing in her medical records could account for it. But here's where things get messy. This statement directly contradicts what she has publicly said before. In past interviews, Gypsy had openly stated that the loss of her teeth was a side effect of chemotherapy, something she frequently mentioned while living under the control of her mother, D.D. Blanchard. She previously explained that chemotherapy caused severe decay, leading to the extraction of her teeth.
Abuse. Why did you not expose your mum's lies to the police? Why did you take it as far as what you did?
Honestly, I didn't know the extent of the abuse myself. Some things were very obvious, like the physical abuse, but there was other things in the medical abuse side of it.
This was a key part of the story she had been telling for years. But suddenly, Gypsy is singing a different tune, completely dismissing the idea that chemotherapy had anything to do with her dental issues. Now, here's where things really start to unravel. If she never underwent chemotherapy, as she now claims, then how could the removal of her teeth be linked to it in the first place? Was she lying before, or is she lying now? The contradiction doesn't just exist in her words. It directly clashes with the timeline of events.
Very painful. Like my mother said, I had cancer. You can't see cancer, and my mother was telling myself and others that I was on cancer medication. So there was things like those little things that I didn't even know until upon arrest.
If chemotherapy was never part of her medical history, then why had she repeatedly credited it as the reason for her dental issues? Were doctors extracting her teeth for no reason, or is there another part of the story that Gypsy is choosing to leave out? Her latest denial of chemotherapy treatments completely undermines the explanation she gave for her tooth loss, leaving people wondering whether she genuinely believes her own revised version of events or if she's just trying to distance herself from past statements that are now under intense public scrutiny.
You got any regrets?
Oh yeah, I have lots of regrets, lots of things that I would change. Obviously the big one, that goes without saying, but that's on my conscience. I have to live with that on a daily basis. Yes, I did my time, I did 8.5 years, but the emotional and mental regret that I have to live with goes for the rest of my life.
Things took an even more shocking turn when Gypsy's medical records were leaked, revealing undeniable evidence that shattered her claims. Unlike personal opinions or manipulated narratives, medical records don't lie, and these documents painted a very different picture from the one Gypsy had been selling to the public. According to these records, Gypsy had severe dental issues dating back to her teenage years, long before she ever spoke about chemotherapy.
That dentist pulled her teeth out for no reason. She claims that she went to the dentist and her mother told them that she had pain in her teeth and they just pulled them out. Let's take a look at some of these pictures of Gypsy's teeth. In the most recent episode of Life After Lockup on Lifetime,
the records showed extensive cavities, decay, and a clear need for dental interventions. Most damning of all, the records suggested that her reliance on bottle feeding for an extended period contributed to the deterioration of her teeth. With this new evidence out in the open, Gypsy's credibility took another major hit. Her claim that there was no medical reason for her teeth being removed was now completely debunked.
with a baby bottle, and every parent knows that children who drink from a bottle past time when they're supposed to know that it impacts their mouth and how their teeth are growing. They also know that when you leave a baby to drink a bottle,
if her teeth had been falling apart due to prolonged bottle use and pre-existing dental problems, then her previous insistence that chemotherapy was to blame simply doesn't hold up. The irony: Gypsy is now being exposed by the very medical history she spent years insisting was the truth. She tried to rewrite her past, but the facts are catching up to her. What's even more damning is how this pattern keeps repeating itself. Every time a contradiction is exposed, Gypsy scrambles to shift the blame, often placing it on her late mother, Dee Dee. While no one denies the horrific abuse she suffered, her tendency to distance herself from past statements whenever the truth gets too messy is becoming harder to ignore.
overnight, that milk gets on their teeth and causes what is known as bottle rot. It actually takes off the enamel and causes the teeth to rot. So here you can see Gypsy holding her little bottle. I'm no expert on it.
Instead of owning up to the inconsistencies, she continues to twist the narrative, making it harder and harder for the public to believe anything she says. This latest scandal has left people wondering, should Gypsy just step away from the internet altogether? Every time she posts, she seems to dig herself into a deeper hole, exposing more contradictions and making it nearly impossible to keep her story straight.
Go with a conservative number and say that she looks like she's about 8 years old right here. 8 years old, still drinking out of a bottle. Yeah, that's gonna cause some teeth issues. Here's another one of the inside of her mouth, and you can clearly see that the top 2 teeth are rotting.
Is she intentionally misleading the public, or is she struggling to separate fact from fiction after years of manipulation? Whatever the case may be, one thing is clear: Gypsy Rose Blanchard's story is far from over, and the more she tries to control the narrative, the more tangled it becomes. Will she finally take accountability, or is this just another chapter in a never-ending cycle of deception? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on the latest drama. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Gypsy is rewriting history, or is there more to the story? Turn on post notifications so you never miss a new upload, and follow me on insert social handles for even more behind the scenes tea. Until next time, stay tuned, stay messy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.